Hello and welcome to this surprise episode of Coping with COVID. I was going to take today off because today happens to be a Sunday, and I thought, I need a day of rest. And the real truth was I was going to take today off because I wasn't really inspired with anything particular to say. But some events happened this morning, and I suddenly felt like I had some material to work with, so here I am. I'm Marlo Archer. I'm a licensed psychologist, and I began using Facebook Live to practice doing live Facebooks. I'm not sure why. I thought I might need it. What I'm discovering is that I think there's a certain audience for the Facebook Live that enjoys to have something they can connect to during the day, particularly when they're maybe stuck at home working or quarantine. Hi, Marcia. And I know that there's a certain audience for this live, but people are also watching it in the recordings. And then also I think I'd like to have it be more interactive. Certainly people can type in. I'm trying to greet people as they arrive. Amanda is here. Hey, Amanda, sorry, this is a surprise. I didn't know I was doing it. Hey, favorite cousin Jenny, welcome. I was just kind of saying that this one was not really planned because I wasn't feeling very inspired, but some things that happened this morning, I felt like, suddenly I sort of had some material. And I was kind of saying that these Facebook Lives have a certain audience, but my cousin Eddie and Sue, my aunt, hi. The Facebook Lives have a certain audience, but I think I want to have something more interactive. So I'll probably follow this up with some kind of a Zoom interactive thing. Hey, Tommy. We finished the first segment, which was the introduction. The second segment is stages of grief. Because I was feeling grief this morning, and therapists are really familiar with the stages of grief, and by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, myself included. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was sort of the queen of grief forever. She did pass away, weirdly in Scottsdale. I wish I would have known. I probably would have tried to go meet her, but I didn't know at the time. Anyhow, she sort of pioneered this theory about 5 stages of grief that begin with denial. You're just going to pretend like the bad thing didn't happen, and then you'll have some bargaining where you kind of go back and forth, like you try to think of ways where you could do something and make it not have happened, or if you would have only done this, it wouldn't have happened. Then there's anger, just mad that just angry that the thing happened. Then some real deep sadness, even I think it's labeled depression in her model. And finally coming to acceptance. Now, problem with that model is that everybody thought like you just, go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And we know now that that's not really true. You can cycle back and forth. You can jump right into sadness and then go back to denial. And there have been more current therapies or theories that have come out around grief. I actually just don't know them off the top of my head. I know hers off the top of my head, so that's the one I'm sharing. Others are also fine. The third segment that we're into now has a hummingbird right behind us at the fountain. So if you're not interested in what I'm saying, then just watch the hummingbird because they're beautiful. The third segment that I've got here today is that it builds on what I just said, the grief cycle. But we all have, hi Cindy, hi Dina, we all have multiple grief cycles going on all at once. So for example, I'm just going to use myself as an example. During this COVID fiasco, one of the first things that I lost, a big thing that I lost, was a convention that I was really looking forward to going to. And I really was in denial about that for some time, and it really hit me more yesterday and today Not because it got canceled yesterday or today, but more because it's supposed to be, I'm supposed to be on my way there. I'm supposed to be traveling now to get there. And so that grief cycle is going on. But then meanwhile, I have the grief cycle of all the people that I love that I'm going to not see there. Now, I'm going to see them again, but I'm not going to see them this time. But it also, for me this morning, triggered into some people in that community that are deceased that I can't see anymore at all. And those cycles, are very big and longer. And then, of course, hi, favorite cousin Michelle, it also gets into my loss of my father, which was, another one that's bigger and longer. And then, meanwhile, maybe I lost my pen this morning. It's not that big of a deal, but, it's grief cycles on top of grief cycles get to be so overwhelming. So just know that you have tons of grief cycles going on right now, and they can be very, very overwhelming. The fourth segment today is an encouragement to you, to myself, and to my good friend Marianne and Steve to feel your feelings, all of them, both the good ones and the bad ones. We say, oh, well, which ones are good and bad? There aren't any. They're all just feelings. There's some feelings that you like better than others. Not a lot of people really like sadness. We try to avoid that one kind of at all costs. We usually will turn sadness into anger pretty quickly. So in that grief cycle, if you're about to feel the sadness, chances are you'll flip it into anger, or even go backwards again into bargaining and try to figure out maybe how I can still salvage something or another. Or you might even go all the way back to denial. And I have to share it now because I thought of it, and you probably saw it on my face. But when my father passed away, and he was, some of you know him, or knew him, or still know him, he was such a jokester that, and he had played so many jokes on me during the course of my life that I swear to you that I stood in front of his dead body in the casket, and I thought for probably 30 or 40 seconds, if this is a joke, I'm going to kill him. And I almost leaned over and said it to his corpse. And I thought, I'm like, oh, that's just bargaining, that's just denial. Get a hold of yourself, woman. And I thought, no, I maybe still want to say it, because if this is a joke, I want him to know that I knew it was a joke. So please, allow yourself to feel all your feelings, no matter how crazy or uncomfortable they are. They are not going to go away. They are just going to get stored in your body unless you allow yourself to feel them. The fifth section here is to allow yourself imperfection. Yesterday I mentioned Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection, and today I'm going to mention Dorothy Satin's book, Real is Better Than Perfect. And I really don't have the book out here with me today to share it with all of you, although it's convenient that it is. I actually had it here because I was really missing Dorothy today. And so I just wanted to have her book with me. And, now you see that I'm holding it like this, and a lot of people think that this sort of thing looks silly or you look like a lunatic. And you know what? Tell those people to shut up because we need to feel our feelings. And if I'm missing her and I can just hold this book for a moment and remember all that she was, I know that she's not really gone. She's inside of me. She's inside of you. She's inside of some of you that are on this live right now. Some of you have met her as well. Just like my father, lots of you are beeping in with your comments about how much you know him. He's not gone either. He's here with all of us. Welcome, Amy. Just ending round 5 shortly, which has been about allowing yourself imperfections. I want to share that the most recent surgery that I went to was a very minor surgery to get some little thing removed off my eye. It was not even a thing. And I swear to you, oh, Katrina, hi. I swear to you, I took a stuffed animal. Morning, Brandon and Mike. I took a stuffed animal with me to my surgery. I don't care. One of the nurses actually made fun of me. Don't care. I wanted to have comfort, and I was welcome to it, and I allowed myself to have it, and you should too. Have healthy comforts during these times. The sixth section that I told myself I would talk about is Maslow's hierarchy. And of course, now that I've put it on the list, I don't really know the five steps of the hierarchy off the top of my head. So if any of you know it, feel free to chime in, and I'm going to fake them up. So this isn't Maslow's hierarchy. This will be like Marlow's hierarchy. Anywho, Maslow was the dude who did it originally, and said that basically you can't concentrate on anything until your basic needs are met. So food, clothing, shelter. You can't concentrate on whether or not you're going to get a college degree unless you have food, clothing, shelter. That's it. If you have food, clothing, and shelter, you can move on to the very next one, which would be great if I knew what it was. But it has something to do with, something just a little bit higher than that. I'm going to refer you back to the allowing yourself imperfections. This is a huge imperfection. Don't put something on your list that you don't have memorized. Anywho, Maslow's hierarchy will be something that I can come back to in future segments. But the next ones are about love and belonging. If we don't feel like we belong somewhere, that we have a community, we will perish. The top one, which hardly everyone ever gets to, is self-actualization, and that's when you're all zen with the universe and everything is great and you can just manage everything. Some people, when I talk about Maslow's hierarchy, they say, whoever gets to that stage, and I'm like, well, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., maybe a few other people. I'd love to say Oprah, but she's maybe like almost there. Anyhow, moving on to the seventh segment. This is hey, Holly just popped on, which is great because this is Holly's suggestion. She wanted suggestions about decluttering or just simplifying your life, organizing. Folks are stuck in their houses and they realize like, oh, this is a bunch of clutter. If you haven't read Marie Kondo's stuff, her stuff is excellent. This is the Cliff Notes. Get all the stuff of one category in the same room at the same time. So like if you're going to do books, you take all your books from everywhere in your house and put them in the same room at the same time, and you pick every single one of them up. You pick every single one of them up and you touch it, and you look at it and you hold it, and you ask yourself, does it spark joy? And for me to just put this book to my chest sparks joy. So I have to keep this book. Now another book, you pick it up, and if it doesn't spark joy, you have to put it in the get rid of pile. You just have to. And the get rid of can be throw it out. I don't encourage that. Marie Kondo does. It's not my thing. Donate it to charity, give it to someone else. Actually, Marie Kondo also discourages giving it to someone else because that's sort of cluttering up their life. So do what you feel morally okay with that, but get it out of your house, things that are not for you. Next section is healing your relationships. Hi, Brent. Heal your relationships. For America, I think coronavirus is revisiting 9/11, except for we get 3 months warning. And it's not just over there, like in New York or at the Pentagon, where I never go. It's everywhere in America. And also, it's not just America. And it's not an attack on America. This is a blight on the whole world. And the whole world is hurting now, entirely hurting. It's going to hurt now for months, and it's going to hurt for years to come. I think this thing is going to hurt us for at least a good decade. Sorry, folks. It's going to hurt us for at least a good decade. I strongly suggest that you heal your relationships now. You have time. You know, people in the towers when the planes were crashed, they were calling their loved ones and, oh, I love you. And you know what? You've got tons of warning. So if you've got any of those people that you would call if you were on the top floor of the World Trade Center, if it was having an airplane crashed into it, call them today. I don't care if you have lots of excuses. Oh, it's, Sunday, or I can't call on a Sunday, or I don't have long distance, or, they probably won't be home. I don't know. End of excuses. You have time to call people that matter to you, that you have a rift with, that you have done something to them or said something to them that you need to repair, or that you need to forgive. If you have something that you need to forgive somebody for, call them up today and just tell them you forgive them. Or video chats, whatever, however you do it. Duo, Facebook Live. Go Facebook Live and forgive them live. That would be fantastic. Next section is gratitude. I tend to, I just smiled because my aunt is watching this with my cousin. Yay. Take a moment to have gratitude. I have gratitude certainly for family. That's the thing people always say first, generally. And you can certainly type your gratitudes here. I really have gratitude for all the feelings that there are. Sadness, grief, happiness, joyfulness. We really can't feel one without the other. You can't turn off all your sad feelings and have any feelings left. So you can ignore the sadness or the fear or the anger that you have about this virus. But if you shut those feelings off, you're going to shut yourself off from joy, from happiness, from creativity, from your own heart. You're going to shut off your own heart. And I don't want to shut off my own heart because it's what connects me to all of you, including Darlene. Hi, Darlene. I love all of you. I love myself. I love a higher power. I think there's only one that connects us all. People call it different things. I just call it higher power because it's sort of recognized and unoffensive. But I think there's just one main energy that connects us all. I feel connected to you all. I'm remembering a time when Deb Shaddy said to me, when you want to cry, that's no time to be alone. And this morning I wanted to cry. And John was sleeping, and I thought, well, I shouldn't be alone. I should wake him up. And I thought, oh, why wake him up? I said, I'm going to go cry with all my Facebook peeps. And then, of course, I was like so excited to have peeps to cry with that I got inspired to do this segment or do this episode. And I wrote a bunch of things down, and then I cried. I cried for several minutes, and I said, gosh, I hope my face still looks like I cried when I get done with this. So I didn't touch up or somebody said there's a thing on here where you can edit your appearance, and I didn't know about that. So sorry. No, not sorry. No, I'm not sorry I didn't know about that. You're going to see me as is, but I'm going to admit now that I know about that, and I'm not going to use it. And I encourage you not to use it either. So I'm taking a deep breath. We are in the final segment, which is integration. I am integrating each and every one of you into my heart and soul today, where you already were. You were already there. You just all made guest appearances for me today. I'm glad to make this guest appearance for you as well. Welcome, Dawn. Like I said, to me, this is just funny that it started as me doing Facebook practice, and now it's grown into something that people are asking, like, when's it going to be? And like now I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to do it. And I'm also going to give myself permission that I don't have to do it. Like today wouldn't have happened unless I got inspired. I might take off tomorrow. But I'm going to move towards doing something with Zoom that could be interactive, because I enjoy having all of you here, and you guys can text with each other during this, but I'd love to be able to hear you as well. And with that, I'll end. Thank you.